But yeah, it's stupid, crazy hot in here. My head's like on fire from the lights today.
These are bright.
Anyway, we've got Paul in Chicago. How are you?
Hello, hi. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I'm a Catholic, and I think we all could agree on how terrible racism is.
Sure.
But I question whether atheism, with its belief that we evolved totally by chance, can give an adequate response to racism.
So why do you think that atheists have a belief that we evolved by chance?
So you don't say that we evolved by chance? Was there a design?
That's not the question. Why do you think that that's a tenet of atheism?
Okay, I'm open to hear what you have to say. Do you believe in evolution? Am I correct?
I do believe that evolution is the best explanation for the diversity of life on this planet.
All right.
Okay, but that does not imply that evolution is a chance occurrence.
Okay, it's not a chance occurrence.
Right.
But it wasn't. Okay, but are you saying?
And that's not a tenet of atheism.
Okay, all right. I know that's not a tenet of atheism, but
if we get to your real objection, your position is you don't think that a worldview that doesn't include a God can account for opposition to racism.
Well, it's kind of what I'm saying, but what I'm saying is that you have these different races, and they each evolved. Some would evolve earlier than others. Some evolved later than others. Some evolved faster than others. To say otherwise, it seems to smack of some sort of design to say that each race, independently on its own,
I'm wondering if you're confusing
at the same pace.
I'm wondering if you're confusing. First of all, I'm wondering if you're confusing race with species, because pretty much humans, the differences between us that we often identify as race, the timescales in those really aren't relevant. I don't understand why that's relevant to equality. It's not the sort of thing. I'm just having a really difficult time kind of understanding what the objection is. And let me put it this way. As a Catholic, I would assume that you accept the bulk of the Bible at some level. And so would you agree that God has a chosen people that were the Israelites?
Yes.
And you understand that the Bible supports and endorses slavery and condones it?
Yes.
Okay. And so of the two of our worldviews, mine, which is founded on humanism and understanding that we are all related, and that while we may not all be actually equal in every measurable sense, that some, whether you're talking about breaking it down along lines of primarily male-female, you may find that men or genetically male individuals may have better physical strength, but that's not a difference that we say, oh, this is better as a human being. The equality that we talk about when we're talking about things like race or gender or anything along those lines is about how we treat people, and that we should begin with the foundation that build a system in which you would want to live not knowing what you're going to be. That is kind of the humanist cake cutter approach. I want to design a system before I know whether I'm going to enter it as male, female, white, black, whatever. And that equitable system is one that results in an elimination, or as much of an elimination as possible, of racist mentality.
Okay, I would totally agree with that, and the Catholic Church would totally agree with that.
No, they wouldn't.
No, they wouldn't.
Yes, they would.
Well, then,
if you would check that, there was a papal bull issued a long time ago before we had slavery in this country, which condemned slavery.
Yeah, but okay,
if you look at Mexico, which is predominantly was settled by Catholic Spain, there was not the race problem that we've had. In fact, the Spaniards would actually intermarry with the Indians.
Paul, even if I gave it to you that the Catholic Church did this, that has nothing to do with the subject that we're talking about. Your position was that a worldview without a God couldn't account for opposition to racism, and I just offered you the explanation. Hang on, let me finish. Let me finish.
Okay.
I just offered you a worldview without a God that does offer an explanation like that, and you agreed that the Bible, which you understand to be true and good and the basis from God, actually does not stand in opposition to racism. Even if your Catholic Church does, it's doing it without any.
You're still looking at it as a Protestant. You're not looking at.
Paul, you're on hold. Even if the Catholic Church did do this and stand in opposition to racism, they are not using the Bible, the foundation of their religion, as the justification for this. It is not their God-based worldview that is encouraging them to stand in opposition to racism. It is the secular worldview around them that has dragged them kicking and screaming from the Dark Ages that has encouraged this sort of change, this departure from their teachings, from their biblical teachings.
Well, the thing is, though, first of all, you have, I think you're misunderstanding the Catholic view of the Bible, and it's different than the Protestant view. And we don't believe in sola scriptura. We believe that, and we also believe that in progressive revelation. And so that even though the Bible might have allowed for slavery, actually back then, what are you going to do if, let's say, a tribe invades you and you beat them? What are you going to do with the survivors?
Are you really saying that there's a justification for owning other people as property?
Well, tell me what you would do if you were
no. I'm asking you.
And you won the invasion, and you're going to just say, okay, you guys go back and you be good, and nothing will happen.
Yeah, that's actually what you have to do.
Yeah. It's actually part of the rules of modern warfare that we've actually discovered.
Yeah, but you're looking in terms of modern warfare. I'm looking at it in terms.
Do you know why, Paul? Paul, do you know why? Because we've learned more about right and wrong. My point is that you have a book that advocates a position that is immoral, and you believe that it comes from God.
Wait a minute. Even in modern warfare, when we beat Japan, didn't we occupy Japan?
I'm not justifying anything that we've done. I'm not even justifying war or invasion. Matter of fact, the invasions and the wars that are cataloged in the Bible, I would say were immoral from the outset. This idea that we're God's chosen people and we're going to come and take your shit, that's just immoral.
Yeah.
Okay, but this is kind of getting away from what I wanted to talk about.
Do you acknowledge that somebody can have a worldview without a God and actually have a good, sound justification for opposing racism?
Not when you try to explain how all races have evolved equally.
That's not an opposition to racism. You're conflating two separate issues. I'm talking about how people are treated and considered, and that people have equal opportunity and are treated equally under the law and under the law and have equal rights.
Everybody agrees with that. I, as a Catholic, agree with that.
Yeah, why?
Because we're all created equally. But
we're not, actually.
It doesn't make sense to say that we're all evolved equally, because we're not all evolved equally if there is no God.
Yeah, I just said we're not created and we're not created equal. Your foundation
Okay, so you
false.
agree that some races are not evolving as fast as other races?
Race is, if you're talking about humans, race is largely a social construct.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually exist as like a thing.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say subspecies.
There are
Sure.
no subspecies.
There's just humans.
Yeah.
We don't have a subspecies of
Okay,
human.
so you're saying, let's say the white race, the black race, the Asian race, they all evolved equally.
No, they're social constructs.
They're social constructs.
Yes, this differentiation based on skin tone is something we do. It's not about who we really are.
Are we all evolved from the same couple?
No, we didn't all evolve from the same two
Okay,
individuals.
did we all evolve at the same time? Did we all evolve from different primates at the same time?
Every human being on the planet, and every other living thing, by the way, shares a common ancestor. You have this strange misunderstanding of evolution where you're looking at it as a progression or a ladder or things happen. It's a tree. It's just change over time. Am I more advanced than you? That's not even a concept within evolution. Am I more evolved than you? That's not the way to look at it either. As much as it might be appealing to some people to think that they're more evolved, everything, you could say, is equally evolved. From our common ancestor, we've had an equivalent amount of time. There may not be equivalent generations, but you're just looking at changes. The qualities that you're applying to this are things that you're infusing or imbuing humans with. It's not, I mean, yes, my skin tone is slightly different from Jen's, and there's a variety of skin tones in here. But, you know, I don't want to do this, I don't see race thing, because that's just completely insulting to the fact that there are differences. What I'm talking about is how people are treated, how they're treated under the law, that they're not, I don't even know what you mean by equal, because what I'm talking about by equal is how we value people, how we treat them under the law, that people have equal rights and equal opportunity, not that we are all equivalently strong or equivalently smart, and those differentiations don't even occur on the lines of what we would identify as race. There are absolutely brilliant and stupid people.
We all come from the same common ancestor, correct?
Yes, we share a common ancestor.
Okay, so that means we all come from the same couple?
No.
No.
Okay, we come from different couples.
Well,
different primate couples or whatever. You know,
no,
we didn't come from the same primate ancestor. Is that correct?
Look, let me do it. Let me explain it to you this way. Spanish and French, they're both Latin languages. They both are derived from Latin, correct?
Correct.
Was there some point where a Latin-speaking mother gave birth to a Spanish-speaking child?
A Latin-speaking mother giving birth? Well, if she doesn't give birth to a child that speaks any way.
Okay, sure. The baby didn't come out talking.
Correct.
But was there ever a time when a Latin-speaking mother raised a Spanish-speaking child? That the mother and child spoke different languages?
If the mother married
the answer is no.
Married somebody who was of speaking a different language.
No, the answer is no. Spanish is derived from Latin. A Latin mother never gave birth to a kid that then grew up speaking Spanish, a language different. What happened is this pocket of Latin-speaking people went off over here, and this pocket of Latin-speaking people went over here, and their languages changed over time to where now, in the modern era, we can look at it as Spanish and French. But the person who speaks Spanish here and the person who speaks Spanish here don't necessarily share the same couple, even though those couples interact on the tree as we proceed back to a Latin couple. It's something you probably have to draw.
With that. I agree with all that, but I agree that there is something sociologically going on. But are you saying that after we evolved from the primate, we didn't continue to evolve?
No, we're evolving even today.
Okay.
We've never stopped evolving.
It's a
to
constant.
evolve even today.
Yes.
And if some people evolved, I don't know how you can get away from it, of saying that that some people evolve faster than others.
Because there's no evolve faster.
Why is it important for you to think that some people evolved faster than others? Where does that get you?
Well, actually, I don't believe that people evolve faster than others.
Well, we don't either.
But I don't see how you can say that you don't.
That's because you don't understand evolution at all, which is why you don't accept it. Which, by the way, the Catholic Church does accept it.
Yeah.
And I accept evolution too.
Well, then maybe you should take some time to actually go understand it. I'd recommend talkorigins.org as a great source. There's also
National Center for
Science Education, and Stanford University has put up an evolution site. You can learn all these things, and you can get a better understanding of it. But back to the original question, and then we've got to let you go. I have a worldview that doesn't have a God. I don't believe in a God, and yet I have no problem standing in opposition to racism. Because, first of all, what I value has no basis in whether or not one group evolved faster than other or anything, which is just a nonsensical concept. It's because I understand the value of treating people equally and having people with equal standing under the law. I don't need a God for this understanding. I don't need to make appeals to rates of evolution or evolutionary advances. I only need to understand that we are all humans stuck on this planet interacting, and that the best possible system ensures that none of us are held superior to others, because that is simply false. And it is a counterproductive system. Do you agree that that is a sound way to go about this?
I agree that it's a sound way, but I don't see that you have a rational basis for saying that.
Then you don't know what sound or rational means. I'm sorry, Paul, but thanks for the call. You can't say something is sound and then say you don't have a rational basis for it. IronChariots.org. Go look up soundness at our wiki.
Oh, that was painful.
It was. How much more painful do we want to be today?